Good evening, Progeny Vampires. I, Lashio, am here today to talk to you guys about a new, very basic and simple familiar HUD I've put together. I built this using some of the parts from the new Vampire and Therianthropes HUD, but because it was so simple to put together, gave me an opportunity to test a few things in a much less complex framework. So it's benefited my development efforts in a few ways, including finding a really nifty new trick I now need to retrofit back into the Vampire HUD. Regardless, I'm here to talk about this familiar HUD, which you can see down here in the the lower left corner of my screen, depending on how this renders on YouTube. It's the little silver emblem with the heart in it. This HUD basically does two things. One, if the familiar clicks on it, it will display their their current status, and it'll display that in a text dump, just like the Vampire HUD does. It'll also display their overall health status hovering over the HUD. When the user clicks on it and it displays their status, it goes into high alert mode for I think 1 minute at this point. Yeah, I think it's 1 minute. It will stay in high alert mode. When it's in alert mode, it will flash. It'll pulse in a darker color, and it will continue to scan for updates and messages and stuff. I think every 3 seconds. After the 1 minute, if there's no danger that it senses, it goes back into passive mode, which it's in right now. In passive mode, it just sits there quietly and it's pinging the database about once every minute to every 2 minutes. Just checking for status and any kind of warnings. What it's really doing, its other main feature, is it listens for any incoming bite against the familiar. And if somebody were to bite them, it will go into high alert mode and flash red for a hostile bite or blue for a bite coming from somebody that is classified as an owner/protector of this given familiar. So if the familiar is owned by a vampire, then that specific vampire will bite them and it will flash blue. If they're owned by a house or a clan, if a member of that house or clan bites them, it will turn blue. That is true unless they are very low health. After they get down to around 10 or 15% before death, it will start to flash red regardless of how friendly the given vampire is. So let's demonstrate this. I'm going to use my old test avatar here, Cinnamon Twine. She is just a testing bot I use for various tasks. So right now her HUD, as you can see, is nice and silver. It's in passive mode. And I'm going to walk over and put on a little nibble. So boom. I've started to bite. It takes a second or so for it to detect. And then it is showing her that she is being bitten by me. If I stop the bite, I have just stopped the bite. The HUD still takes 2 or 3 seconds to detect it stop. It stopped being red, which means it knows the bite was no longer active, and it still takes a second or two for who was attacking them to disappear from above it. Now, she was bitten, so the HUD says, hey, there's danger, so it continues to be in high alert mode for, again, I think it's 1 minute. It'll stay in high alert mode. If it detects no further bites or no further issues, it will then go back into passive mode and be quiet. Now I'm going to bite her again, and this time I'm going to kill her. So we go back into a high alert or bite mode. It should detect it. There it is. Sees that she is being bitten, and she's down to 40%, 28%, 16%, 4%. And now she's dead as a doornail. So the HUD will display when the user is dead. I'm going to go ahead and stop that bite now. And then we'll just back up and give her a little space. Yep, turn a little too far. There we go. All right, so when she's dead, we can go ahead and start this. We can still click the HUD, and it will give you your status. But if she's dead, it doesn't go into high alert mode. Basically, the pulse has stopped. It's not checking the server except for if she clicks on the HUD. But I can revive her. Let's see, first we've got to refresh my record here. False. And let's give her some blood, maybe 4.8 liters. Make her a valid human again. Boom. Okay, now she's alive. If I click the HUD again, it did a status check, it gives her her status, and shows that she is 92% health. And because I clicked on it, it stays in high alert mode for, again, 1 minute or so. That's basically all it does. It will display to the familiar if they are being bitten and whether that biter is a friendly or not, and of course their current health status. The HUD, its outputs displays support all currently supported progeny languages, which are English, Spanish, French, Russian, Portuguese, Italian, and German, I believe. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. And these language features came from the new Vampire HUD, but now that I've built it in this simpler environment, I have an easier way to go back and make it work even better in the Vampire HUD. So I'm kind of excited about that. Hope you guys like it. It should be available for distribution in, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. I still need to make a package for it and make it, it's non-edit, so I need to make like a small, medium, large, extra large version so that the user can use the one that fits their screen the best. All right, bon appetit.